One survey in the UK revealed that 90% of people say they have too much clutter in their homes, and only about 7% of them have said that they don't have a clutter issue. So how do we know when we have too much stuff? Today I'm going to share with you 11 signs that you may have too much stuff in your house and it might be time for a declutter. Sign number 1, you dread going into your house. I was watching the other day the new episodes of Sort Your Life Out on BBC. It's a show where they take people's whole cluttered homes, they put all the belongings into a warehouse and help them declutter and sort their house out. It's an amazing show, but what I learned from that show is that a lot of people were saying how they dread going back into their homes at the end of the day, like they come home from work or whatever it might be, and they sit in their cars for 20-30 minutes trying to summon up the strength, the courage to go into their house because it feels so overwhelming and so suffocating that they simply dread going into their homes. And at the end of the day, our homes should be our sanctuary, right? The place where we go to have this relief, this calm, this place where we can finally wind down and relax after a busy day. Sign number 2 is you panic when you get the message, oh, can I pop over in 15 minutes? If that kind of text message stresses the heck out of you, then it might be time for a declutter. Having a clutter-free space does not mean my house is tidy all the time. There's always going to be mess around because we have a busy household with 2 children. But the difference is that when I do tidy, it only takes 5-10 minutes. Even if they took out a whole bunch of toys, it never takes too long to tidy. So if I get that text message, I'm not panicking. Like, yes, I might go around and kind of straighten up a bit, but even if they showed up unannounced, I would not feel that dread. And for me, that is a priceless feeling. Number 3, you bicker a lot with your partner or your family over clutter or household chores. A research of 2,000 adults in a relationship showed that 40% argue on a weekly basis over the clutter in their home. You know it's becoming more and more of an issue when it's starting to affect your relationships. If it's affecting your relationship with your spouse, your partner, your family members, your children, whoever it might be, that's a really good sign that clutter is becoming a bigger and bigger issue, and having a massive declutter of your house is going to really improve both your relationships and your life in general. The same research showed that 1 in 6 adults considered breaking up with their partner over stuff in their home, over clutter, over bickering, over household chores. So decluttering is not just about creating a pretty house, it's way deeper than that. Number 4 is you don't have clear surfaces for your children to do their homework or to have a nice dinner together. If you have to move stuff around off the table, off the dining area, or create a little nook for them amongst the chaos for them to be able to do their homework, it might be a good idea to start clearing up those surfaces and creating better systems to make your household work a bit better. There have been multiple studies that show that children growing up in hoarded homes or very cluttered homes have higher levels of anxiety, depression, and mental health issues. So even though having a household with children ourselves, it doesn't mean it's going to be always tidy. It doesn't mean there's never going to be toys out. Of course not. Always going to be drawings or toys or clothes, but it's easy to tidy at the end of the day. And I make it a priority for us to have a clear surface, to have tea time together, for my son to be able to do his homework, for us to be able to play a board game together on a big clear surface. And of course, children are not going to be consciously particular about having a very clear surface or a very tidy house, but they will feel the benefits from having that tidy environment. Number 5 is you lose items a lot. If you're leaving the house and you can't find your keys, your wallet, your purse, your bag, your umbrella, whatever it might be, I've been there myself, then that's a good sign you might have too much stuff in your house. And it's also a good sign that you might need a few more systems to help you out. I have a separate video where I show exactly how I created these systems for a better functioning home. The National Association of Professional Organizers says that we spend on average 1 year of our lives looking for lost items around our homes. So think about how much time you would save if you had one little basket where you always drop your keys, your wallet. That's where you know they go when you come in, and you know where to find them when you head out. And going along with this, you have repurchased items that you couldn't find in your house, only to then discover that old item behind the clutter. This has actually happened to me. Like, for example, my son, I knew he had watercolor paints somewhere in the house. I couldn't find them. So naturally, I went out to the shops, bought another one, and then a few weeks later, I found the old watercolor paint behind a whole bunch of things that we had in our understairs cupboard. And that's one example of how much money we can waste replacing items that we've lost among the clutter, even though we knew we had them. And funnily enough, when I talk about decluttering with a lot of people, they have this fear of regret that, oh, I'm gonna give this item away and then I'll really want it and I'll have to buy it again, and so I'm wasting money, when in fact that's usually very rare that might happen. But it's a lot more common to buy items again that you already own because you can't find them. And so actually getting rid of the clutter is going to save you money in the long run. Number 7, you have a dumping ground, whether that's your spare room, loft, garage, shed, whatever area in your home that might be. In the UK, there was a study that showed there are almost 1.5 million rooms that are filled to the brim with clutter. And a poll that was done on 2,000 homeowners showed that 10% of them had a room that they don't use because it's too full of stuff. For us, that area in our home used to be our garage. We actually don't have a garage anymore, but when we did, we used it as a dumping ground. And if you think about it, we pay a fortune to live in our homes, right? And especially if you have a garage or a spare room, those are usually areas that you pay a whole lot more money, whether that's on rent or on your mortgage, to have that spare room or to have that garage. That's going to cost you a lot every single month. And if we are using that room for basically a dumping ground, a graveyard where we have no idea what's even in there, we can't even find things when we need them, it's just full of boxes and things that we say we're gonna tackle but we don't feel like doing it right now, so we just stuff it in there. That is such a waste of money and resources. So if you have one of those rooms, then it might be a good idea to start decluttering just little by little. I know it can be so overwhelming. I know it felt like that when we started on our garage, but just little by little, whenever you get a chance, throw out those old boxes. You don't need them. Make little progress here and there, and in 1 year from now, you'll be surprised at what that space can look like. You are surrounded by doom piles. Whether that's piles of paperwork, piles of laundry. These are things that can add so much to our stress levels without even realizing. If you see these piles around your house constantly, even if consciously you think, oh, it's okay, I'm not bothered by mess, studies have actually shown that our brains do like order and they perform better when there's less visual clutter to attract our attention. And so starting to tackle those piles slowly can really make a big difference on your mental health and how your house feels in general. Number 9 is you can go for weeks without doing laundry before you run out of things to wear. One of the categories that people have a lot more things that they probably need to is clothes. Our wardrobes in general are full of clothes that we don't fit into anymore, that we don't really like anymore, that we used to like but we don't wear anymore, that we feel like, oh, maybe I'll fit into that another day, that we save for a special occasion. And we think we need a lot of options and a lot of clothes so that we have, wiggle room so we can postpone laundry as long as we need to. But that's what causes the piles. That's what causes it to get overwhelming. If you have less clothes, you actually have to wash them regularly, right? You have to be on top of laundry, otherwise you're not gonna have anything to wear. And that's actually a good thing, especially if you're not a naturally organized person, because then laundry is easier, you do it more often, but when you do it, it's not as overwhelming and your wardrobe is lighter and airy and it doesn't feel overwhelming every morning. You can't access certain wardrobes, cupboards, drawers, or areas in your home. If there is one area in your home that you can't really go into, you have to move a whole bunch of things over so you can open the door, that's a good sign that you need to declutter. You have to shuffle a lot of things over in order to clean. If you are trying to clean your dining table or clean your kitchen counters, and you have to move around about 100 items so you can just simply spray the surface, then that's going to make the chore take a lot longer than it should. What I have learned through minimalism is that when I clear my surfaces of, all those knickknacks, all those things that I don't really love, but I just kind of have them there. When I clear my surfaces and I have less out, cleaning my house is actually not that hard. It doesn't take that long. Having less on my bathroom counters or bathroom sink means I can quickly go and give it a wipe without having to move half of my bathroom over and then put it back so that I can just give it a quick clean. And so decluttering can truly help in so many areas. It can give you your time back because you're not going to waste so much time cleaning and moving stuff around and looking for lost items. And it's also going to save your relationships, whether that's with your spouse, your partner, your children, or your family. It can truly have such a big impact on your life. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this, because I know what a difference it can make in your life. I do hope this was helpful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.